Welcome. This session is about the good news, even in daunting situations. So I'd like to speak just for a few minutes about depression, because depression is now, according to the World Health Organization, the #1 brain disorder in the world, and 20% of all people in the world will experience severe clinical depression sometime within their life. Now, as daunting as that is, there's good news on the horizon. And that is that there are things that we can do starting today to lift the depression from our system. So if I might just give you a little background on depression. Science now knows that depression is an overactivation of the stress response, the fight or flight response that individuals have. And we now know that it's also an underactivation of the well-being aspect of our nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, while modern drug therapy has been effective at blunting the stress response, at reducing the stress response, it does not address increasing the well-being response. So often people who are treated for depression with drug therapy report that while the extreme desperation is lifted, they often feel very flat, very numb. There's not a joy to life. There's not that spring in their step because the drugs don't do anything to increase the well-being response. However, for people who are depressed, research shows that SKY will lower or blunt the stress response and at the same time increase the well-being response so that people are vital and alive again. And it doesn't take months to master. These changes begin from the very first session, which is why within 1 month, which is shorter than the average time for drug therapy, there is a 68 to 80% remission rate for both depression and anxiety. And we also know that it changes the biology of the body. For example, prolactin, which is a well-being hormone, it's what mothers experience when they're nursing their babies. It's that ooh, cuddly, loving, all is right with the world feeling. And not surprising, it's abnormally low in many patients who are depressed. And what's found with SKY is that from the very first session, that well-being hormone, prolactin, begins to significantly increase. Not taking months, but from the very first session. And this may be why there is this uniform rapid response with people who practice SKY. Because usually, with classic treatments for depression, the length of time a person is suffering from depression, the severity of depression, and the degree of biological brain dysfunction, the out of the ordinary brainwave activity that accompanies depression, often determine how quickly somebody will respond to their care. However, with SKY, there is a uniform rapid response regardless of the severity of depression, the length of time suffering from depression, and the degree of brain dysfunction accompanying depression. So even in the depressing world of depression, there is good news on the horizon. Easy for us